Assalamu alaikum to all of our brothers and sisters in the Middle East. Today we'll be speaking about Palestine in particular, um, and some other, and most likely Israel. Uh, I'd like to start off by saying, for one, again, because we just started the YouTube live, is I am Luna, International Human Rights Activist for International Youth Project for Gaza, International Youth Project for Palestine. With me is David Hughes, who is also an activist for Palestine. And we have some issues today about a worldwide rally that David has initiated and will be doing on actually in like 10 days, um, from the Free the People of the Planet Earth. It's FPPE. So, in that regards, it's a very, very much of an honor to have David with us. Assalamu alaikum, David. How are you?
Luna, I don't even know how to approach this whole situation, and you know I don't. I'm just an average guy. Thank you. I mean, thank you so much for recognizing my voice, hearing what I had to say, and connecting with me. There was someone who put you and I in touch with each other, and your support for the message I really appreciate. Free the People of Planet Earth. It's a Facebook page that I started back in February. It was just an idea, and it was based on essentially a lot of the things going on in the world. I mean, in the United States, we have, as the world is very much aware, I'm sure, a lot of things going on, to say the least,
Mm.
with what's going on. And so I address a lot of those issues. But also on that page, and I really appreciate this opportunity. This is amazing. It's really a sign that we're on the right path, and the connections that I hope to be able to discuss today uh, are unbelievable connections. And so the page started, and the main focus was, and what really drove me to it was I was ranting and raving, and people were tired of it. People who don't seem to want to listen, and you know what we're dealing with here in the United States as far as the apathy and the closed-minded people. Of what was actually happening. People who don't know the history of Palestine, who don't know the history of this region, and what is happening, the incursions, this occupation, the illegal occupations, this apartheid. You have all the people and the activists, but we are divided on varied issues whenever we're not focused, it seems, on what is the root of what is really going on. People ask me, and I don't mean to get thrown into a tangent real quickly, but I'm passionate about what I need to say, that why Palestine, why the West Bank, why Gaza. It's because you don't go at the snake from the mouth. You go at the snake from the heart. And what I'm trying to do with Free the People of Planet Earth is wake people up to the idea that they are the heart of that snake. You and I talked about that.
Yes,
That we are the life of that snake.
exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Um, I want to speak a little bit. I wanted to know if you wanted to speak firstly about the tragic happenings with baby Ali, or would you like to start with the reasons why and then um,
We could start anywhere. And Luna, it comes down. Let's start with the word imperialism. I mean, if we really want to talk about what's going on, we're going to start with the roots and things. I mean, this is something that has been happening for generations and generations. We know it has, since the colonialism of the United Kingdom that still continues to this day. We're talking about how the United States has just become kind of a conglomerate of Zionism, because we got to expose the wolf in sheep's clothing, is what the message is all about. We can't even begin to address the truth. I don't care what political activists you are. I don't care how outspoken you've been in your life. Though I remember the teachers who gave me the book Anne Frank, and how much I appreciated so much reading this history of the Holocaust of the Jewish people, and I still to this day am very much aware of that truth, what did actually happen, and I don't allow in the message to get diverted. Let's recognize a lot of these truths. but what I'm saying is that this Zionism has this new world order has just put on my tinfoil hat or whatever. It's one giant thing where it's all working together, and to me, if we don't begin to recognize that it is Palestine, that this problem is Gaza. We have the world's largest outdoor prison. We have all these activists and political people who seem to just not who want to turn their back on the truth that they shout and scream about those past occurrences like my teacher did, but then they're unwilling to even play the part in their generation of history that is to wake up and see what's happening. We've got, I mean, one of the there's lots of statistics we can throw out. I'm so bad at them, but you're right. I mean, we have 500 kids who are incarcerated right now for throwing rocks, 14 to 16 years, when we had baby Ali. And why August 26th? What is this uprising, and what that's all about is, number one, it was a random date. August 26th is my birthday. It's the day I hit the ground. you know and so when I started Free the People of Planet Earth, I threw it out there because I was asking for an event date. I was just arbitrary. It was going to probably be pushed along. I didn't have any idea. But when this happened to this family, when a group of murderous thugs went into a home and set a family's home on fire and killed them, and a baby was died immediately, and when this happens and the world doesn't seem to want to care, something has to be done. And if I have to scream at the top of a Capitol dome, I will, whatever it takes. When I say I'm willing to die for this, here's what I'm saying. Why wouldn't we be willing to die for this cause? These are children. These are babies that are being blown to pieces every day. We had Luna, I couldn't read the translation, but you and I saw there was a post today of 2 bombs apparently that fell on Gaza.
No, these weren't bombs, honey.
Okay.
They were flares, and actually,
There's lights. I couldn't quite read the translation.
yeah, it was it. They were, the people in Gaza will call them light bombs, and basically that's all they are. They're flares, just so the Israeli government can see. In other words, they're being nosy, but nevertheless, you have small children that don't understand, who don't
Well, I think
understand what these things are. So,
that brings a real big point here of my position that I think needs to be said as well. Is why me? Is and why not? I don't know everything. I've been educated to the extent that I have. Growing up, I had we've talked about, I had an opportunity in college to be educated to the reality of what's going on there. A professor introduced a topic, and I dug in pretty deeply and realized what occupation was all about, these instigations.
hmm
And I still, and I saw all these things happening through the years. But last year, when we saw the bombs that happened, I remember standing in the street screaming, and tears streaming down my face. Why wouldn't my country wake up? And when I see how the United States somehow continuously backs this idea, and this needs to be said too, that, well, these are God's chosen people. I'm not going to get lost into that debate. That's irrelevant to me where you stand on any religious convictions. That's absolutely irrelevant on what we're trying to accomplish. What we're trying to accomplish is to expose the truth that we have this. The guys who did that, first of all, who did this murder to the family, they haven't even been brought to justice, the majority of them, and one of them did, and he got 6 months. Again, back to the rock throwing, the kids, 500 kids, that I've been told, 14 to 16 years for throwing a rock if they're Palestinian.
Mm.
Right. So that's why August 26th, I'm saying, let's rise up. Let's rise up, the whole world. Get out there and do whatever creative idea you have to do in peace, not one broken window, not nothing. Stand up and be ready to truly expose the truth of Zionism. And back to the point, it is not about race. It is not about religion. This is about humanity. This is about standing up and recognizing this must stop. It's about each community being responsible for their own. You know, I've had these blessed opportunities. There's no other way to describe it. In having started this page, I have come across people. I need to, you know, throw a few out. Haggai Drasner. There's a message. I probably brutalized the name. There's a message on Free the People of Planet Earth from a Jewish-born person who has renounced his Zionist and left Israel. Is you read the letter, the passion is from humanity. It's a recognition that this is wrong. Whenever we can stop, and I say, you know, when we can stop being driven by the wounds of our past and be driven by the hope and the opportunity of our children's future. And I know that's asking for way more than a lot of people. Who am I again to say this? You know, this is about, you know, it's not just peace for Palestine, but this is about peace for Israel. And why do I say that? That's where I'm coming from, right? Remember, this is an American perspective.
Mm-hmm.
This is my Denver, Colorado perspective. I know that I do not have the perspective that others do, but this is what I can say. We have all been told that we are powerless, that we can't change this, that if we start here, that and we begin to expose this conglomerate of government, this Zionism, this New World Order, this fascist, whatever it is, and you know, don't think I'm just radical. I know if people are like, there's radical talk, it's not. You know,
No.
9/11, do your own research. Don't be offended by the words, folks. Look into those things. And again, do your own research. I won't tell people anything. You know, that's for people to begin to wake themselves up and learn.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can start to expose the idea that we do have the power to change, that I'm asking the people rather than to turn off the feeling of the hard things that have happened, people who have been put into an Israeli prison because they stood for their courage, because they stood for their name, because they stood for their pride, because we have people who are throwing rocks at an army, you know, because of this. And they sit there and they are being treated by a hateful people who have allowed hate to fill their hearts. We can't call one another names. We are not animals. Okay, they are not animals. Recognize the humanity and become accountable for that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't blow it off as they're this and this, but become accountable for our own communities. If my community does something, it is up to me to be responsible to approach the victims to first of all make an amends. To make an amends.
Mm-hmm.
It is also my responsibility to make sure that that stops somehow, that there's enough of us. There's enough of other people, enough of us in this world that can stand up together, all of us at once, and we can shut these giants away, these imperialists who have bought and sold our world for their own cause.
Mm-hmm.
That's not tinfoil hat, that's the truth, and everybody can see it.
Yes.
And so all I'm telling folks to be is not offended. Don't sit there and say, oh, well, he's talking about God's chosen. I'm not. I'm talking about God's chosen people standing up and being accountable for a political regime that has taken over their own supposed country and allowed them to, in the pursuit of money, in the pursuit of power, to become what they despise the most. I'm calling on those of peace to please join us. That letter, I ask people, come to the Facebook page, Free the People of Planet Earth. Come check out that letter. It's a beautiful letter. He has his own perspective. He has his own religious ideal. Who am I to question that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a small man. Anybody who tries to stand there and impose some sort of a fascist belief upon another because their convictions they somehow have justified to be correct, I ask them as well to get on their knees and become humble. That's my rant. I hope.
Yeah. But you do
I've said.
understand. You do understand, David. Is I understand exactly what you're saying, and the unity and the peace. I mean, it hasn't been going on for years. I mean, way before you or I
I
were
know.
even born. And this is something that hasn't been um, hasn't been truly addressed to make it. I mean, in some ways, on both sides, this is a moneymaker as far as the governments are concerned.
Talk
And
about
and
scammers.
yeah,
Scammers. It's
and
unbelievable.
you know the governments on both sides also have a lot to do with this, is because this makes them money also. You know, if they are arguing with each other and they're fighting all the time, then there's funding coming in for whatever the case may be.
So why do we let them?
Exactly.
Why do we
Exactly.
let them?
Exactly.
I
Now
mean, well,
I cannot speak. I cannot, and I will not speak. This is why, you know, I really have come down to, it's taken me a while. I've been in internet networking and media for 14 years.
mhm.
But this is why I started with this live broadcast is for Palestine, is so mainly we're going to start. It's kind of hard in Gaza, and I'm trying to encourage the West Bank, but
It
when
starts
they,
here.
yeah, me being American and having American and Egyptian dual, you know, dual citizenship because of my marriage,
Mhm.
it's very important to me, um, to be able to give the people of Palestine their own voice. Um, I'll just mention one thing, and that would be our brother Hamdi. He is a photographer, but he is also a citizen independent journalist, and he's very well respected. He didn't start off this big with these many supporters, but he does have them because he works his ass.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
he was invited to the UK
I heard that.
for a festival, and the festival, the government of the UK turned his visa down. Now, there's ways that he can be there. I read in an article yesterday something about that, you know, somebody was going to be there to speak on his behalf, and I'm thinking to myself, as like we're doing right now, there's too much technology for him not to be there to speak to himself. To me personally, and it's only my personal thought, and people can agree or they can disagree, but I've been within this struggle and the Palestinian struggle of an occupied Palestine
What
for
about
damn near 16 years. And to me, that is a way to still shut him up. You know, you can make this festival and use thousands of dollars to do it, but you can't have the intelligence to make
that's
sure you have him live stream via live stream like we're doing right now, for him to
right?
do his own presentation, and you're going to have somebody speak for him. Don't take his words from him. This I have actually, honestly, even contacted. I left Hamdi a personal message, and I also contact some others, and I said, look, if you don't know how to do it and you don't want to do it, I will do it, free,
Mhm.
costs
Mhm.
nothing. All I need to do is have a conversation, or be able to see Hamdi on Skype, and he can do
Well,
his own presentation. You
no, no,
know,
that's the point. What you're talking about right there is that you're doing something, right? And all it takes is for everybody to do something.
right? Exactly.
Everybody needs to say something. Everybody is willing to not continue to be lazy and be pacified by their you know the great anesthetizer, the television sets, and all the rest of our you know. Here's the thing: when this we were talking about this new world order, when you control the banks, when you control the media, you control the masses. You
Hmm.
keep the wages set at the very level you want. So if you want the people quiet, you just decrease the wages so that they're strapped to their jobs, and or two jobs or three jobs, and then you call them lazy. And you distract in every form and manner you possibly can. We're talking about one person who's not being allowed by Israel to go out. What about the 40,000 kids who were this year, and this is something that was told to me, 40,000 under the age of 18 that have requested to be transferred out of Gaza, out of Gaza or Palestine. I need to be careful. They may have been moved out of Gaza out to the West Bank. I don't know, but they're requesting Israel is refusing to allow them out for medical assistance. You see, the medical, no, it's Gaza. Check my facts. You know what I'm saying is bad enough. Whatever I'm saying, it doesn't matter. They're not being allowed to go into to out for medical treatment. And all 40,000 requests from kids under 18 have been denied. The soccer team that tried to get out recently, we saw, from Palestine and Israel. This is an occupation. This is an entire occupation. This is Gaza is just a simple idea of this prison where people are being sniper rifled. We've seen the actual footage of those events. Now, how things are going, I've spoken with enough people, fortunately. I've been able to reach out to know that, it's a little more of the situation. It's impossible for me to relate from Denver. It's impossible for me to see what they're seeing, to feel what it is out there, to know the trauma, the PTSD, to not be able to have the wounds even be healed. Here's the main thing, and this is what's really got me furious. We got all these world catastrophes, and you see all these people stand up and throw money at Haiti, and we saw what happened there, very whatever. But where was the world after this incredible explosion? We did more for every country I've ever seen in my life. And how did the media, example of controlling, actually sweep that under the rug? How can we still not be bringing up the fact of what is the truth? You hear Fareed Zakaria or whatever on the news. He'll just get into the touch of the iceberg, but when it comes to truly exposing the truth of what's happening, they shut him up and he plays ball. Why do you think he's got a show on CNN? And this is the media, it's the truth. This is where the media hits the pavement.
Right.
And until people get off their lazy asses anymore, and get sick of American being idle and quit being entertained and quit being, how long did we spend on that freaking plane crash? Just after Gaza? What word came out about anything?
Yeah.
About anything? Distraction. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It is absolutely, and people are afraid. People are afraid to begin to ask why, because they're intimidated.
Right.
They're,
With saying this, I've been in social media and live broadcasting since 2000. Yet in 2012, I moved there in October of 2010. So I was there 4 months before the revolution started. When the revolution started, many of us, there was no CNN and there was no ABC, right? Al Jazeera was trying, but they were also, having problems with the government. So, we made our own media, and I am strong. Being, I'm not saying that I invented live streaming. What I'm saying is that I am one of the very many during the Egyptian revolution who wasn't waiting for the damn mainstream media, and that's all there was to it. So we started doing it on our own, and it has grown very, very largely since then. People need to look for this. It's out there. You don't have to go to CNN to see what's going on, because you've got people in the West Bank and in Gaza who are showing us this themselves. People just have to know and learn the resources.
They need to find it. They need to begin to look. That's what we're asking is for people that, when I say expose Zion, I mean educate yourself. That's what we're talking about.
And
if you have met people like you is amazing to me, because you are exactly that. I heard your live stream from Gaza, and if it's on the page and it's on varied other pages, that's shreds a person's heart.
Yeah, but that video, I'll be totally honest. I did go ahead it's during, this is a very hard time. I cannot compare, I cannot compare shit. I can't
Um,
compare my experience during the war on my brothers and sisters last year as my feet being on the ground. But I uh, I made sure that their voices were heard, and because they weren't being heard, and I wanted people. The reason for that video, I don't put out that video, is because it's very emotional to me, and it's there. And if people want to see it, it's there publicly. I shouldn't have to uh, promote that. People should be looking for it, and it's very easy to find. I got 62 views on that. 62 views. Not for myself. I don't really give a shit that it's on my YouTube station. What I do give a shit about are my three brothers. Actually, four, because one was on the phone, who damn near died this day. And for me right now, especially with it being the 1 year mark, it is very hard for me to do. But I did it last night because I had listened to it, and I said the hell with it. The world needs to see this.
Luna,
So I
I was
forced it out. It, it's it's the most hopeless feeling when you're sitting there and you're close with these youth,
yeah.
and they could die any minute right in front of your face. I had no idea what Hussein would go through. These bombs were very close to him in this video, and this wasn't the first time.
And see how it related to me was I was a school teacher for 5 years, and I was thinking of certain students who I love so much. What if that was the kids I had loved back in that day, that I still love so much.
Hmm.
And I knew your connection, and my heart shattered in the idea of this is what recognized that. I
Well,
couldn't imagine.
it that day, because of the electricity and the internet speed from the Gaza side, my voice was not being heard. But you could hear the boys, and my reaction was totally angry, screaming, yelling, saying, "Why aren't people waking the hell up? Don't you hear this?" And I'm American, but I also live in Egypt, so I'm here in the United States at the present moment. And very soon, inshallah, we'll be going to Egypt and then into Gaza. But at this point in time, Ma! This is Citizen Media, so we are at my house. um, they, what was I stating? Um,
Well, we were talking about the live stream, the
okay.
video.
Yeah,
Live
the video itself, that day, you cannot hardly hear my voice. The only time that you can really hear my voice is when the bombs were hitting. There was three different very, very big explosions near Hussein, and one had hit near Mohammed, who was on the phone in another area. And I was literally
Believe
screaming. I mean, I was like, the more I heard, because I feel helpless. I'm there with them. And it wasn't just on this broadcast, this was a 24/7 thing. I mean, I even contacted uh, the Occupy and some of our inner friends to make sure that they had internet 24/7, no matter what, lights or not. And we made sure that we built ways so that they had communication. And when they could not, after the power plant was totally demolished, then we were just like really screwed. and we were getting nothing but,
Imagine that.
little
Imagine
things.
just silent.
So just silence. And so you sit there and you watch, and then you have no choice but to look at the stupid mainstream media and turn down the voice. All I needed to see
Yeah.
was the video. I knew he was. I turned down the voice. Didn't want to hear shit of anybody what anybody had to say. I just wanted to see the video. And because you get to know these places, even, and it's extraordinary. Even being in the United States, I can see a place and say, okay, this is where this was that. And we had our team from one side of Gaza to the other side of Gaza. So, yeah, it was extraordinary. But let's go ahead. That's I am rambling, so I
No,
want.
no, no, no. And it's what it is. And I mean, I'll tell you right now.
Hold on
You
one
know
second. I'm gonna mute my mic because I'm getting ready to yell something. Just give me 1 minute.
that is straight up. We can't hear the dog unless it's the dog's really bugging you.
The dog is really bugging me.
Dog's about to.
That's what I love a lot about live stream media. We can just be ourselves. There, there's no, that's what it
Ain't
is.
that Amy Goodman?
Totally 100% citizen media.
Right.
We got
No,
lives
but
too.
I wanted to say this. Luna is one of the connections that you and I are both aware of. There's an Aisha Rehab, AISHA Rehab, REHAB. That is a donation that I have on the page for the people, and that is verified by Palestinian government. That I know that any donation does go on her GoFundMe page does go directly to her orphans. She has 6 children that she is taking care of who are orphans from this war. Because imagine how many children don't have somebody. And I was thinking earlier, there's days you and I promise you and I cry. We absolutely will just think of what we've been in. It's hard. It's emotionally draining as we go through our daily lives that we have to, and we cry over what we are seeing. And I talk about scraping the inside walls of your head. You're wondering why the world won't wake up to what is happening. Why are they so? Why are they so pacified? Why are they so content with becoming sheep? Why are they so content with voting for a Donald Trump? Let's without getting political.
You know what?
But
I might not even do any of that, and I don't get political at all. I don't bring the political stuff or the religion stuff into
straight
it.
up
But I'm not. I'm not.
irrelevant. The point being, why are we asleep? Why are we willing to allow all of this to happen? Um, I know we're running a little bit out of time, so I just wanted to say, if I may, it's a, but I just wanted to say that again, I'm asking for the voices of peace from all
Mom,
sides.
hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. I'm calling my own house. Isn't that a shame?
Uh,
Hold on 1 second.
Fluffy. George Carlin, come home and kick the shit out of Fluffy.
Fluffy!
Oh, if he doesn't come, I
He's
will
not, he's
snap
right there.
him so hard his curls will
Fluffy!
go straight.
Can she come out yet?
Let them both go out.
He's not
Just go ahead and
moving
leave
at
it open then. Just go ahead and leave it open.
All right.
I'm sorry. I'm very sorry
No
about
worries,
that.
no worries. I want to make sure some things do get said because I do want, but this shouldn't be a one-sided battle, Luna.
No, it
This
shouldn't.
shouldn't be. This should be all sides of every community out there standing against what is happening and saying we're not going to let a fascist group develop on our planet again, and without stopping them quickly and at least recognizing the truth of it. I
Right.
wanted to say that on August 26, 2015, when we stand up, I'm thinking noon. Anyway, I don't know. I guess some people would start something early in the day, but I don't know. Noon. I got work to do. No, I'm teasing, but there's noon. I think is a good time, and to please come out in peace. No broken windows. No
No, I
confrontation.
don't think you will have this.
I know this. I know, but it's critical that it does get said because we're asking for a lot of people, and we want everybody to be aware that it's. I'd rather people sit down on the ground, cross legs style, and talk.
Right.
That's what we're talking about doing.
And
You
you
know?
know the thing is too is that I can vouch for this 100%, is that a Palestinian, yes,
And
and I'm looking
Jewish.
at a Palestinian and Jewish pro-Palestinian protests in the United States are the most peaceful
That's what we need. That's what we need.
most of the time. Now, we do have our problems with police officers who like to intimidate, but
We don't want
for
that
the
to even.
yeah,
We
but
don't
for the
want a
most part,
distraction.
they come out very nice
Let me
and
say this. Let me say
very
this. There
peaceful.
was back in the. I'll kind of wrap this. Back in the 60s, there was COINTELPRO. It was a CIA infiltration organization. They would go into any resistance movements or any revolutionary groups. They'd infiltrate it and they'd discredit the cause. They'd try to stir things up. That's happening constantly. Right now, we even have some of these fake GoFundMe pages. They are Zionists. It was told to me by a very, very actual source that these Zionists are going. You see, they can go into the West Bank territory and purchase phone cards that make it look like they are literally in Gaza when are into Gaza to purchase these phone cards, but they're actually not. And so they're actually Zionists, but that these Zionists have infiltrated a lot of the anonymous groups, the Occupy groups. They've occupied all these resistance type groups. That needs to be said. Any voice for Palestine, believe me, they're trying their best to shut it down. So if a broken Starbucks window happens, that again, like back when the World Trade Organization battle in Seattle occurred, what did the media focus in on? They focused in on the Starbucks, broken windows at the Starbucks. They didn't focus in on the globalization message of the G7, the G8, what have you.
Right.
The globalization, the world trade.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that I've been into activism for 16 years, and basically, this is a normal for mainstream media. I mean, even during the Egyptian Revolution, through the Syrian Revolution, through the Libya Revolution, through the Bahrain, which was the very first revolution.
Right.
Um, it's all the same. The mainstream media. Now you will get some. Let me be very clear. Not every reporter in a mainstream media outlet will do this, but damn many will. There's very few that will be real.
And
And we have to condone them. I mean, I know personally when we had what was it? I think there was the police brutality here.
yeah.
We had a journalist. I won't mention her, but
Black Lives Matter, by the way.
yeah. Well, this was way before. This was during when Manuel Diaz got shot and murdered by the Anaheim Police Department in California, and there was uh, there was protests, peaceful protests that started and ended up being confrontational because the protesters were being intimidated.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
also want to learn. With saying this, and not going off into going off the Palestinian topic. I do want to say to our brothers and sisters in Palestine and the Middle East, as an American, as we feel your pain. No, we don't have bombs hitting inside. We've had our
Thousands and thousands of the people in the United States are awake.
yep,
Thousands.
and we have our own dictating bullshit that goes on here that you don't
Yes.
see. And so Americans are more and more waking up to
Trying.
the cause of what is happening, within Palestine, what is happening within Egypt, what's happening within, Syria, and the suffering and the dictatorship that comes with that. So we do know. I want to explain as an American, we do know, but catching some Americans' attention to be able to first admit they already know, they already see, it's clear. A bad thing is about us Americans is that it's hard to admit because we're supposed to be this superpower, this freedom, land of freedom and rights, and our own rights and freedoms have actually been taken away gradually.
Hijacked. Our country's been
Yes.
hijacked.
So
by
so I'm just
special-
wanted to make that message out to our brothers and sisters in the Middle East and perhaps in UK or wherever. Um, do I put a big S for superpower within my own government? Hell no.
Oh,
We
and
don't have a
here's the
super
shame of it.
Superman. We don't have a
We
super
got to
super
we've
Superman.
got to bring that out of every country and every person, but it starts, nationalism and all these ideals. We got to get rid of those whole fascist ideals anyway. We got to recognize the humanity
Well,
and
the
come
thing
into
is, and I'm going to tell you the truth, David. I've lived in the Middle East, and it's very hard for the people to just go ahead and come up and rise. Now, I do know that in the West Bank, and there are protests in Gaza, but
It's deadly.
I do know there that every Friday, my brothers and sisters and the little lions that are, with their slingshots or throwing a rock,
This is
every
right
Friday
before
they're
us.
there, and they have the damn right to do what they have to do.
Absolutely.
I mean, you
This is
have
rise
a
up
you have a
before us.
tank, you have an Israeli Jeep with a bunch of snipers in it, and they're throwing rubber bullets and they're throwing their tear
Abducting
gas,
kids.
abducting kids. They do it after the fact. They do it after the fact because somebody got mad or whatever. But the thing is that the rock throwing is a warning. Just stay away from us.
Look at
You
God,
know?
what the? It's rocks. These are fucking rocks.
But in the Middle East, that's culturally, that is a very bad thing to do.
You
But,
get-
to us, I could say, to us, we go skip rocking. We go throw rocks all the time, But in the Middle East,
we throw snowballs at cars.
right.
500 kids are dead since April. Here's some facts. But for throwing those rocks, you get 14 to 16 years is the law. The Zionist law has passed that actually so that these kids are incarcerated into these prisons. Now, let me say something about these prisons. These prisons where it is you go in and you are stripped in front of a group. You are Muslim. That is the most humiliating thing you could possibly think, and it is traumatic.
Happens to Christians
It-
too. Just as long as you're Palestinian, it's a total race
Amen.
thing.
You know what? Thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah.
This is racism. This is the extreme racism. If you are not Jewish, and actually if you are not Zionist Jewish, you are not welcome. You see, it's that bad. This. I don't know. I guess we want to end pretty quick before it goes on too long, especially if we want to. I do hope we can post this and
Or what we can do is I can stop the feed now and we can come back. And if you want to go longer, that's okay with me. We can stop the feed so that I will be able to put this on YouTube. So
let's
it's not.
call it. We've been on an hour. Let's call it. We'll do this again or something.
Okay. Okay.
Luna, this has been. When I say that there's something outside of us at work here, it's affirming to me whenever some of the way things are lining up, that what we are doing is right. I know it is. We've got to wake the world up. That's it. Make people responsible, make people care, make people less afraid to be accountable for what they've done, to acknowledge the harm. You see, being accountable for our community, the United States, that's what we're talking about, more than everything. and how we can get this message out. I'm hoping on August 26th we can start that. I believe I believe in a motion, a movement of peace, and I really believe that this child did not die in vain. And if we can bring about not just a great, now nobody's saying to get over the anger, that's going to take years. But I'm talking about a lasting peace, one that is a calm and lasting peace, not a paranoid peace in Israel, in Palestine, but something where we can begin to recognize what needs to be done to heal these wounds. It does not, that takes time.
Hmm.
But the peace must start now. And I think that needs to be said, that I don't want to see another child die, another person die in violence. If we can somehow awaken people to their maybe childish dreams, that the things that we were told can't happen, that we have hardened our hearts to, we've been told, I can't feel this anymore. I'm begging us
Hmm.
somehow to reach down into our heart and find the strength to feel again. One more time, to allow ourselves to feel everything we have been hardened, and to look in the eyes of our enemy. How much greater is it spiritually for every person to forgive our enemy? I'm not saying to forget. I'm not saying to not want to harm them. I'm saying not to.
Right.
I'm saying a peace that will
So
last.
that's what your march will be about on the on.
August 26th. It's about Baby Ali. It's about world peace. It's about starting right here.
Okay.
Luna, I'll chat with you. Let's call the video, huh?
Okay. I'm gonna end with my certain feelings.
Yes, I was
I
gonna
work a
say,
lot
just put
with
your pause.
work with a lot with Gaza. My thoughts is that we are in the anniversary. I mean, Baby Ali's tragedy is, there is no words for the tragedy. There's not. There's nothing I can say that would even come close to giving the sympathy that I would want to give to my brothers and sisters in the West Bank at this point in time, especially his family, his father, who has also died, a man who has been arrested for 6 months for 2 counts of murder. That's bullshit. I think, and I will call this activist at this point in time. We'll be making a further statement onto this, to have this man now, for only 6 months of Baby Ali's death, that he be retried for the death of Ali's father now.
Amen. By an
Um,
international court.
by an international court.
Fuck yeah.
Because that's terrorism. As far as the many youth that I work with in Gaza, and on the behalf of myself and my work that I do within Gaza, I want to say God bless 551, 500, 551 children who all had names, who all had ages, the youngest being 3 weeks old, and her twin brother, killed, murdered, executed, a genocidal murder from the government of Israel. We won't forget them either. Their names will come out. People will remember them, because we are in the 1 year anniversary. I call on and I challenge every activist in the world right now, with those 551 children, innocent, including now still the deaths of children that are taking place, whether it be from a damn settler or the Zionist military government that they have there, for Baby Ali and his father, them be united as one, and even more so,
Amen.
be taken into the International Criminal Court. There are petitions out there for Mr. Netanyahu, the leader of Israel,
Go
and
UK.
he needs to be, and them will be signed. Believe
Sign
me,
that petition,
those will
UK.
be signed. UK has done exactly what they're supposed to do. The last time I looked, there's over 600 and something thousand
60,000
signatures right now.
They need 100,000 signatures.
We need
And
just
of
a little
course
bit
it'll-
more. You
It's
know,
just one more way to expose what's happening. Will it go anywhere? Nobody has everybody knows full well that it's going to,
nope.
But
In Britain, when they do this, they have to take it and they have to consider
Have
it in the
to.
Parliament.
That's right.
So
That's exactly right.
I'm asking again, my brothers and sisters of the UK, to take a little bit of action. You don't have to be Muslim. You don't have to be Christian. This is nothing, has nothing to do with any kind of political stance that you may have. This has nothing to do with any kind of religious stance you may have. These are children and innocent people, human beings that happen to be Palestinian who are being innocently killed. And this man is coming into your country. Will you support this man who has gotten away? Him and his regime? He's a dictator, he's a murderer, and he's a criminal. And if they can kill other leaders that they state that are dictators, this should be one of them. Into the international court, he needs to go.
We have to hold our own leaders accountable for the atrocities that they have committed in the Middle East.
Yes, and that is very well being done.
Straight up.
But
You know what
as far as the currently thing that's being done is the UK. As far as the world rallies, we'd have for the children of Gaza, and that encourages any kind of rally. If you want to go out and put a Palestinian flag onto your any kind of action.
Mm-hmm.
But action started we can only use the social media and doing the posting of showing the kids and this and that. And I'm gonna make a point right now as I'm live. This activist here works very closely, and I know there's many others. I'm not singling myself out. But personally to myself, I had someone tag me into a post that was kind of it showed the truth. There was children passed away and dead and murdered from the Israeli regime. But I had a Skype call that day by one of my youth in tears, asking me, because he misunderstood, thought that I posted this, and asked me, please, can you not post that again? And I asked him, and I won't say his name, I asked him, why, honey? What's the matter? That was his family.
Yeah, God.
So, you will not see this activist, not this activist at this point in time, keep posting and posting at this time. This is the most vital time right now. This is the 1 year. We have until October. This started in July. It's not going to be over until October. We have some vulnerable people in Gaza. Our brothers and sisters in Gaza are going through hell twice now.
PTSD.
And they're reliving everything. Every time a picture like this is shown, if they do it themselves, then that's them wanting to speak out. And this live station will start being live, and you will start hearing from these people themselves. Because it doesn't matter what Luna says. This matters what the Palestinian people have to say. And we're damn right going to give them that chance, if nobody else will.
The heart of a lion speaks in right through you. I love you.
You know, there's no more time to wait. What are we waiting for? I would like to ask the international community, what are we waiting for? We're so close. BDS is starting to make an impact. They want to sue. Yeah, they want to sue BDS. Why? Because BDS is making
divested.
Yep, BDS is making an impact. So they're pretty pissed off. So the thing is that now is the time to act. This didn't start overnight, and we're not going to finish it overnight. But we can go day by day and do what we can. You
Luna,
know,
we look at history. We look at history, right? And folks are always asking me, why Palestine? Why Baby Ali, right? Well, the civil rights movement in America, it had been boiling to the point where it was about to become, and there were some incredible racial riots. And a spark occurred from one individual named Rosa Parks. And that spark in Selma, Alabama, on the Greyhound bus when she refused to get up out of her seat, I believe she was tired that day, is what she says. I was tired. But you know, she had she was intellectually empowered to the point that she knew, fuck you, I'm not getting up. And so it takes a spark. So soon after, if I know my history, MLK was then contacted and told to come here to Selma and to start a movement that changed history, that we have a lot of work to do.
right.
But you see what that it takes. So let this child not die in vain. Why Baby Ali? Because I'm asking the world to see the reality. There's no better example that I can come up with, aside from the 550 children that have died since the last year, the 40,000 children who have not been allowed out for medical attention, all this shit. But there's nothing. Grab a hold and stand up August 26th in the streets. If we can get this message, I need people to be creative how we get the message out.
And this is just one action. You know, David will have one action on the 26th.
This is one
But
day.
the thing,
Begins.
exactly, you start from there and you keep having your rallies all over.
Every day.
Become a David. That's what I encourage our listeners and our watchers to do. Become a
Look at the
David.
people on the streets.
You don't have to be an activist. You can just be a concerned person, a human being who has some empathy and is concerned about the humanity portion of this whole issue.
Don't step over people anymore.
Right. You know, the only
It's
thing
that
I
simple.
will say, is that in each part of the world, there's only so much the people can do because they do not have the right to protest.
Absolutely.
And so
Needs
the
to be
ones
said.
that are able to do that, you
Better
are
damn
fighting
good.
for the rest of the ones that can't. You are the voice for the voiceless.
Amen.
And that should make you stronger.
That's just-
You know, I don't know what any better case, you know, and by all due respect, David, I know you're on the right track. You are really on the right track. My problem is, and it's not with you, it's just the fact that this is the deal. The root problem is not Baby Ali. God bless this child.
I know.
God bless this child.
It's not. No one would say it is.
The root of the problem is every child who has lost their life, every young youth could have been another Arafat. They could have been another doctor. They could have been another nurse. But they're never going to get this chance because their life was taken. Not by God. If you believe in God, if you don't, whatever, you know, their life wasn't taken. Their life was taken by a regime in Israel who have killed them. If they didn't die of natural causes. And if you cannot stand up as a human being and have empathy for that,
That's what I'm saying. Look,
then, you know,
it's a spiritual matter. When we look at the root, it is beyond the victims.
yes.
It is beyond the perpetrators of the murder committed against those victims. It is the fear within us, a lack of faith. It is a lack of faith.
We could,
I
yep.
don't want to.
And we can go on and on and on about the Palestinian thing. Let me ask, and I'm not directing this to you, David. I'm directing this to our listeners. Let me add for you, just real quick, like, just within the last 4 years. Palestinian children in Gaza. Palestinian children in the West Bank. Palestinian children, and I'm not taking this call. Palestinian children in Syria.
Syria.
Palestinian children in Jordan. Palestinian children in Lebanon. Palestinian children in Egypt. Palestinian children in refugee areas, because I will not, as an activist, call them camps. They're not camps to me. They're Palestinian areas where Palestinians have been put and cannot, in these other areas, come out by the countries that they are in. Palestinians who are Palestinians who are in Jordan, they don't have the freedom to go where they want. Palestinians in Lebanon, they don't have the freedom to go where they want in Libya. Palestinians who are in Lebanon, Mika, out for a minute, out. Palestinians who are in Lebanon, they don't have the freedom to go out of the area that they're put in as refugees. Palestinians in Jordan, same thing. Palestinians in Egypt, same thing. So, when we speak of Palestine as a whole, let's think about the people who are ready to go home. 1914, 1917, the world went up and it was asked for worldwide financing to get the Jews onto the Palestinian soil. Yes, I said Palestinian soil. So, maybe it's time.
It was straight up, and that's not a debatable topic. That is
Exactly.
straight up fact. Look at the history. That is Palestine. People have tried to say that did not exist. Palestine did exist,
Yes. And they do exist.
and they straight up do. They're being wiped
Yeah.
out. You know,
They do
let's
exist.
cut short, but
You can go ahead and you can go, but I'm going to stay online for a little bit because I have other things within the International Youth Project that I want to go ahead and do
I'll stick
also.
with you. I just
Okay.
It's a matter of making it too long for posting, and I know
Well,
there's
let me
people-
stop. I'm going to stop the broadcast. Me and you will stay on. I'm just going to stop the broadcast and restart it.
And
Hold
come
on.
back on. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Dig it. Right on. Cool.
This